This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, and welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel. A fine Saturday afternoon, but man, I've just been sitting back, relaxing, kicking back, doing my thing. Hope you have been as well. And you know what? It's steak dinner tonight on the open fire, so it's a great Saturday evening plan just in time for the NHL playoffs to roll around in 2 weeks' time. Now, obviously, we're in training camp right now, right? And we're talking all about Broberg, McLeod, Benson, Marudi, and the guys coming back, doing things, Nygaard's hand. You name it, we can talk about it at this point because we actually have guys on the ice. However, one guy that will no longer be on the ice for the Edmonton Oilers moving forward in this training camp is our fifth goalie in this whole rotation that we had, Olivier Rodrigue. The Oilers are down to 4 goalies, as reported by Daniel Nugent-Bowman of The Athletic on Twitter 4 minutes ago, as I'm recording this video. Rodrigue has been released from the camp roster. The Oilers wanted him to attend development camp wanted to attend because development camp and the fall rookie tourney are canceled. Smith, Koskinen, Wells, and Skinner, they are your remaining goaltenders for the Edmonton Oilers at camp right now. And the Oilers now have 32 players left at camp. Wells is not expected to enter the bubble. And defenseman Philip Broberg is TBD. So the only name not mentioned on there is, of course, Ryan McLeod, who many people had, similar to Broberg, Wells, and Rodrigue entering camp here about a week ago, is talking, no, you know what, these guys aren't going to make it. Straight up, these guys are the guys that are just here to get some experience and then they'll be done. Well, now all of a sudden you've had all these headlines the past couple of days about just how good a guy like Broberg or a guy like McLeod has looked, and my goodness, that is huge for the Edmonton Oilers to have this moving forward. Of course, now we get really into the nitty-gritty, right? All of a sudden you make your first cut. Now, a couple guys get on pins and needles, and you know what we've seen out of some guys that are on the bubble already of being not on this team for the playoff run is, simply put, they have put in the effort and gone to work and really impressed not only the scouts, the management, the coaches, the media, everybody. And you know what? We keep talking about them, and that's fine. That is absolutely what we want to do. We've already done videos exclusively on Broberg, videos exclusively on McLeod, and here we are now talking about the first guy cut. It's a goalie, and that is absolutely as predicted, right? There's no kind of shock value to Olivier Rodrigue being cut from going into the playoffs. That's really, no, not at all. Stuart Skinner, more than likely your third goaltender. That means Dylan Willis still gets cut. And end of the day, when you start talking about the Oilers' cuts, the only other 3 guys left, right, are Wells, McLeod, and Broberg that would make sense to cut from this roster. And I think, realistically, I believe the Oilers would be able to enter as long as they cut only 1 more player or 2 more players. So, I don't know. It's interesting to see kind of the situation, right? Is you've got 3 guys that are for sure cuttable material from an NHL playoffs roster, given kind of where they are in their development. But at the same rate, 1 goaltender, yes, absolutely you have to cut. So lock that down that Dylan Wells will be off and not in the NHL bubble come July 26th. That's not a concern. But then you've got a guy like McLeod or Broberg that maybe, just maybe throughout this whole camp, that one or both of them end up indeed sticking around. The only question I have is Cooper Marody and what he's shown so far through camp. I know there's been a couple things on his play, but there really hasn't been as much as the guys like McLeod and Broberg, and I think that's just the hype level surrounding a guy like Broberg, a guy like McLeod, and the fact that these are our organization guys. And you've had Marudi in the organization for a couple years now, and he really hasn't gotten fully underway quite yet. Of course, the concussion history this season kind of hampering things of what he was supposed to light up the AHL, get the call up to the NHL, and then excel at growing his role in the NHL this season. Didn't happen. Now here he's got a chance in camp, and right, obviously Cooper Marody is center, so he does have some big time value to this team on that 5th, 6th rotation behind Gaetan Haas for the Oilers. But yeah, I don't know, man. You sit here, you think about it. There are so many ways that you could build this roster, and we're talking about just having to cut 2, 1, 3 guys, right? And I mean, end of the day, if you keep Philip Broberg and you keep Cooper Marody and Ryan McLeod on this roster, you're not losing nor are you really gaining anything. And I don't know what the exact bubble math is, the bubble rules about how you have to have your roster set for this. But at the end of the day, right, it's just nice to see that the Oilers went kind of an interesting direction with bringing in guys for this playoffs training camp, right? Obviously, it's a mix of guys who are going to push the pace for the final 2 spots, right? The 13th, 14th forward kind of situation. Obviously, belonging more than likely to Joakim Nygard and Gaetan Haas, but hey, you know what? Fill in the blank, right? You just never know. And then, of course, next man up positions, and on defense, what the situation's looking like there. Now with Mike Green opting out, you've got Evan Bouchard is the next man up on the right side, or is it Caleb Jones next man up on the right side, and you keep Chris Russell in if he's not down on the left side? And this is the absolute beauty of this whole roster situation is, yes, we've made one cut, but there are so many questions, or so few questions realistically, that the Edmonton Oilers need to answer, and this is fun. This is fun. You know what? It's not often, right? Obviously, this time in July, we're usually starting to figure out what our roster is going to look like come training camp, kind of who we're inviting, all that. And here we are getting all excited about a training camp roster and cutting the roster down by a couple to get into playoffs, right? We're talking playoffs August 1st. That is fantastic. You know what? It's been a dark past up in probably about 4.5 months from the last time an NHL game was played. The Oilers get a chance at 1 p.m. Mountain Time on August 1st to get things underway. And what I will say, actually, while I got you, I'm just rambling in this one, and that's kind of all there really is to this. I just ramble some thoughts out about it. Hope something sticks. But 1 p.m. on August 1st, of course, live stream goes live at 12:30. If you haven't already gone over to the scheduled live stream and click to get your notification reminder, definitely do that, because I want to see absolutely everybody in there. But right, we have a long way in terms of COVID-19 pandemic reality. We have a long ways to go before August 1st. That's the crazy part here. Yes, we are 8 days removed, so just over a week removed. Tomorrow a week will be from players arriving, and here, yeah, we're just starting to make our first move of the training camp. But then you've got another week on top of that before games are played. Got an exhibition game to go. There is so much to go right, so much to go wrong yet that, I mean, you don't want to start counting your chickens on August 1st, but we got a plan, we got things going, and now the Oilers are slowly starting to make their moves, right? Olivier Rodrigue got all the way through the first 5-6 days of camp, got an off day with the team, got to probably do some stuff there, and now he's gone from camp, and now it's the question mark, who is next on the chopping block for the Edmonton Oilers? But again, like I said, it's hard to figure out who is next because you've got McLeod, Broberg doing their thing. Marody's a guy that's fully healthy and a guy that's serviced you at the NHL level before, so why wouldn't you keep him? And realistically, Dylan Wells is, yeah, the next man up to be cut, but then do you make any more cuts is the question. And I don't know if you have to, but if you don't have to, you almost might not want to based on what's happened at this training camp so far. But I guess the question is, are you allowed to still make cuts by the time you get into exhibition games? That would be the interesting part for me. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, what I want you to do right now is get in the comments section. Let me know you're here. Say hi, whatever you wanted to talk about the topic. And of course, consider hitting that subscribe button. Already this month, since they announced hockey is back, I am up 45 subscribers on the month. And that is, COVID comparison, that is the best month since February before COVID shut down hockey. So, ladies and gentlemen, definitely make sure to get that done. Other than that, I am Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. I am up on out of here.